Hi. So, for those who asked about the live stream, I cannot change it back from age restriction. I've went to every setting you could possibly imagine, and unfortunately, for whatever reason, it is stuck like that. Having said that, I'm going to attempt the next stream not having to age restrict it because a few of you can't see it, which is ridiculous. So, why this is even an issue to begin with is beyond me. Um, but it's YouTube. Like, what can I really do? So, having said that, I finally had a dream. One that I relatively clearly can recall, as opposed to many others that I've forgotten or just have no memory at all of. This time I retained a really good portion of memory of what had occurred. And the setting really reminded me of Chicago, and which is interesting to note on its own because I have had not one, not two, but probably a couple of dozen dreams that I can recall that look like I was in Chicago. And how do I know that's what it was? Is because I've been there and I've seen it, and I've traveled extensively through Chicago, so I know what it looks like. Um, and I recall a very vivid dream I had about a year ago, me being with the musician Dave Grohl in Chicago. And I'm not even a fan of his. Sorry if that offends anyone, if you guys love him to death or whatever, but I remember Dave Grohl was in that dream. And basically, there was a massive thunderstorm. Um, it was raining, it was pouring rain, it was more like a flood. And something was strange. I was walking down the street. I looked like I was wearing a suit and tie. And there was people everywhere. And I noticed something specific. I didn't see anyone with an umbrella. I didn't see anyone trying to hide from the rain. I didn't see anyone trying to shield themselves. Actually, they were immersed in it and loving it. They were sitting on top of cars. They were standing in the middle of the street. And as I kept walking down this street, I noticed that their behavior just continuously and progressively got increasingly more strange. Where they were giving me these really blank stares, sort of zombie like looks, um, doing really strange stuff like walking around in circles, and then there was others that were coming up and trying to intimidate me and instigate a fight, and it just continuously like got progressively worse as I kept going. So I started to kind of panic, and this whole dream I had that whole sense of being in some sort of panic or paranoia too. I would even describe it as more of a paranoia. So because of that, I go inside some skyscraper and looking for safety or whatever, right? And I go up to the top floor, and I go to some apartment. I don't know if it's mine, what apartment this was. It was a large villa like, large penthouse like place. And I go inside, and it felt so dreary and empty inside. It felt so cold and lifeless to be in there. And I noticed something. There was strange stuff started happening in that apartment. There was this pink um liquid that started to ooze out of the walls everywhere. And it kind of looked like Pepto Bismol. and it was just immersing everything. And I'm looking around, and there's this liquid everywhere, and I hear this massive shaking. It's like this earthquake, but it's not like a normal earthquake at all, because I have been in a couple. Um, this thing was like something, it almost felt like there was something below ground that's like punching above ground. It was just like a massive step, like what you would imagine a Godzilla step would be like. And it shook the whole place to the core. And I'm just freaking out. And I grabbed what looked like a rifle or something. And I run to the roof of the building. And it's pouring rain, expecting to be alone on the roof. There was dozens of people up there just soaking in the rain. There was something about this rain that everyone was enamored with. They were just absolutely like almost like they were injecting drugs, like they couldn't get away from the rain. And they were giving me again that blank stare. They were taunting me, trying to instigate fights. They approached me, started grabbing my gun. They were like, "Hey, give that to me. That's ours." And I'm like, "No, no, no. No." And they had the thing that bothered me the most this entire dream was that look on their face. Okay. Let me try to bring up as close of an analogy as I possibly could. If you see someone um, that is like that is gone from drugs, for example, like they fried their brain, and they just give you that blank, emotionless stare, and you could look into their eyes forever. Or you have someone possibly that is, it's so hard to describe. I think you guys would know what I'm talking about, but it was a really uncomfortable look. It was really uncomfortable to be in that presence. So I ended up running away. And so I'm back on the streets, and I'm noticing that this pink ooze is now accompanied by another green liquid. This pink liquid and this green liquid are now starting to flood the streets and fusing everything together. And I'm in a total state of panic, and I woke up in a cold sweat after that. Now, I'm dying to know your opinion about this. There's something really peculiar about this dream that I think sends an extremely important message, whether it be about something in the rain, whether that's related to chemtrailing, if that is something that's potentially possible in the future, if this was another dimension or whatever too. But that rain, it was like biblical. It was biblical. There was nothing like it. It was not a normal thunderstorm at all. So, yeah.